Alright, welcome back to another Genshin video. Today we're doing the Stygian Onslaught Fearless difficulty. Man, this one was quite difficult to complete. I'm recording a post, so I guess more than anything, I just wanted to kind of talk about this mode. I definitely like the challenge for sure. I've had to come up with creative ways to use my teams to complete this. Originally, I was going to put in a bunch of the attempts along with the the clears to kind of show the thought process of how I kept changing teams and experimenting with new things. Um, but I didn't want to make the video like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, because I mean this took me like over 2 days to try and beat. Ultimately, I finally cracked the code um, with New Villette at the on the third against the cactus guy, um, which was extremely challenging. I have never had to like try so many different teams to get this to work. I think this first run I did include was a run that I did not clear, but just to kind of show like, man, I was like so close so many times. And I watched other videos, and I was trying to kind of putting minimal investment into certain units that I had that I just had no investment in, like Sucrose. I have her C6, but level 60, nothing ascended, no artifacts. I was trying Dahlia to see if I could get the Skirk team, but basically the biggest challenge I had was this cactus guy wants a lot of these electric charges to break that shield. But the thing is for the turtle I was using, I was having a hard time clearing that one unless I was also using two hydro supports, right? And so I got the skirt clear easy. It's like I throw Farina on that team with Jing Chu, and even though my Xing Chu build is like garbage, um, you know, I was able to clear that in 90 seconds, and it's no problem. The thing is, then I couldn't come up with a team for this, so then I kept like breaking my runs on the first two to trying everything. I tried Mavuika against the cactus. I tried. Um, Someone said you could get past it if you did enough damage. So I tried some overload teams with my Claran, um, everything. But as you saw with that one that I just did, I was so close. So it was like, okay, let me just poach Yelan's goblet, right? And after I poached her goblet, it was like, okay, we got that little last bit of damage to kind of clear. But then we run into this other problem. So it was like I was experimenting with so many teams on this cactus, but and I couldn't get it clear at all. But then I was also trying to experiment with the turtle because the turtle without my optimal team was also unable to clear. So I was like trying different combinations with, Skirk and Jingchu, Escoffier, and then, some random, I tried a level 20 Mona, level 40 Dahlia, just anything I could try to think of to keep that turtle frozen so that Skirk could do the damage she needed to clear. But, I mean, ultimately we figured it out. Um, but here, yeah, so here's the good run. This is the run where I finally made it happen. Just the tiniest bit more damage on that Nuvolette made all the difference. Um, but another thing as a piece of advice for this mode, it was definitely very interesting. Trying. I really liked this mode because I feel like I am forced to try so many different combinations of teams that I normally do not use. Like my Raiden here isn't even built well at all. Like, and I haven't been able to. I have so many units I'm trying to work on that she just is at the wayside. But she was the best like electro application that I could have with maximum uptime versus I have a C6 Fischl and she's more built than my Raiden, but the cooldown time on that bird was just not working. Um, but so I do like the fact that I shuffling through all these units that I've accumulated over the year, um, that I haven't been able to use and then just trying to piece together a three-team configuration. So I mean, it's definitely I definitely love this mode. And so, but it is very stressful. I think like this took yeah, it took me like over 2 days. As you can see, I was extremely excited. That was the first time I'd ever cleared that cactus guy. It was so tough. But after that, like after this moment, when I saw that first run where I got like really close with Nouvelette, I was like, okay, we're here because I can figure something else out. As you see, I was experimenting. I'd cleared the first two before, but I had to just keep like messing with all my teams. Um, and so I this was another. So now that we got the cactus, this was the next big hurdle. Is I had never been able to clear the turtle using without Farina, like without her constant like 30-second off field with her pets to keep the turtle frozen. Like and then also the buff she brings being C1 for my Skirk. Without that extra damage, I was just unable to clear for the longest time. But as you can see here, I put this run together. Took me multiple attempts. I think what you don't see is I poached that goblet from um, Yelan to put on Nouvelette, but I didn't pay attention to the fact that like the goblet switched with her, then broke her four piece. So then I did a couple runs and I realized, oh crap, I don't have the right, I need her four piece bonus. And then on top of that, some other footage I cut out was I went to my Skirk. My Skirk was running artifacts that were 20, 20, 20, and then 16 on the sands. And I think I was running, maybe it was 12 on the level 12 on the sands and level 16 on the flower or feather, one of those two. And so then I had to, now that I'd burnt through all my materials, I had to put together, the Mora and just sacrifice a bunch of 5-star artifacts to push those to 20. Because once again, like I was getting better and better at my rotations here, at keeping it frozen and making sure I was only using the burst right after a freeze. But I got one or two runs in a row where I was at like the edge of getting him down, where the second shield came back around right here, and it was like, oh my gosh, you got to be kidding me. So and then I realized, okay, let me check my Skirk build out, and she had, I think she was 50 over 220 or something like that, or maybe 60 over 220, but I was just missing just that tiny bit of damage. So after leveling up her artifacts, I was finally able to make that happen. And then at this point, this is where I was like smooth sailing, because the Papilla, I think I already beat. I had already beaten this one and like worked out my rotations with this team, and my Chaska is pretty strong. Same with my Mawika. So I already knew at this point, like I was like sitting in gold, because I'm like, okay, we beat the cactus, which was the hardest boss, and then, or at least for my account, and then it was like, okay, now we have to try to put together something for the Skirk team, because the Skirk team was now suboptimal now that I'd taken out my Farina, because I just never played my normal Skirk team, and what I beat the fourth difficulty with was, the classic Skirk, Shenhei, Escoffier, and Farina. And so now it's like, okay, I've replaced two of those pieces, and it was like, I need to figure out a way to get that to work. And so I got that working. And so now at this point, I'm like, okay, I know exactly what I'm doing. And I had Sitlali on instructors, but then it was like, I was trying to find a way for her to work on the turtle, so then I had to switch her back to Cinder City to try to work with Skirk, and that. So here I am, just shifting back to instructors now that we're here. And so this last one, it was just kind of a one and done. So it's kind of a lazy run. I think my best times on this were, I think I hit 90 seconds on the turtle with my like best team. And then this one was probably like 110, 105 when I had like the perfect run. But at this point, man, 2 days. It's just like, okay, I was just so done at this point. But I was excited because, I finally got the cactus, and it didn't take me too much to figure out the turtle. So at this point, this is a pretty lazy run. Um, and I think I like barely cleared it, but at least I got it done. I was so happy to actually make this through. Definitely was giving me like, for any of those who have played like any of the Elden Ring games, um, you get that sense of accomplishment when you finally like crack the code. Uh, Especially since like, I mean, I go find all these videos on YouTube of other people clearing, and their teams are just way better built than mine are, right? Like all my units are level 80 because I don't have the books to get them to 90 or the Mora. Um, I have some of my characters like Chaska and Mawika. Skirk is pretty well up there as well. My new Valette build is very mid. And then a lot of these, I think my Gilonin, um, she's really well built. I have the signature and 3200 defense and whatnot. But like my Eon San's like very very mediocre. I don't even think I have enough attack on her. I don't even think. I mean, I don't show it here, but I don't even think like my Yansan has like all of her artifacts even level 16. I think I have maybe like one level 20, one level 8, one level 4, maybe a couple 12s. Um, so like I would level them. I just getting the fodder is just it's too hard, and I've been focusing on trying to build up the DPS damage. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was crazy. It was definitely very exciting to finally beat this with my subpar units. Because I mean, the nice thing is I have a lot of the key units to put together, but um, but yeah, not having them all leveled is definitely, or at least like leveled to where they should be. Um, would be very nice. But I mean, now I have more things I need to work on, right? Like I saw so many runs running sucrose. I have her C6. Um, so I just need to work on that and getting some of them, like having more options here would have been nice. My Kazuha just wasn't cutting it in any of the runs I tried with him. But anyway, we got the final prize. So let's go claim that flower or that feather. The whole reason we did this anyway, to get a reroll. All my rerolls were trash. I did 3 2 cost rerolls last time and they just were nothing. So at least we got it. But anyway, thank you for watching. Uh, this is my clear. Stay strong if you're still working on it. You can do it. Bye.